In February of 2020, just as COVID was picking up steam in the United States, members of the US government held a conference in Washington, D.C. The topic? Chinese theft of intellectual property from US technology firms and the US academic sector. Officials said the purpose of the conference, named the China Initiative Conference, was to bring the US private sector and the academic and research communities up to speed with the US government's investigations. Over 4 hours, some of the highest officials from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, and the Department of Justice, DOJ, spent their time raising a sign of alarm and putting the private and academic sector on alert about the threats they are currently facing in terms of intellectual property theft from Chinese entities. This is what one of the participants had to say. The threat from China is real. It's persistent, it's well orchestrated, it's well resourced, and it's not going away anytime soon. John C. Demers, Assistant Attorney General for National Security, said while opening the conference. The FBI Director Christopher Wray in the conference reportedly said cases have been piling up since 2018, ever since the DOJ launched the China Initiative campaign to counter and investigate Beijing's economical espionage. The FBI has about 1,000 investigations involving China's attempted theft of US-based technology in all 56 of our field offices and spanning just about every industry and sector. Christopher Wray was quoted by a media organization during the conference. Just before the conference went live, a Chinese national was to be handed a 2-year punishment for IP theft. Meet Hongjin Tan, a 35-year-old Chinese national and US legal permanent resident, pleaded guilty in a federal court to committing theft of trade secrets from his employer, a US petroleum company. Tan pleaded guilty to theft of a trade secret, unauthorized transmission of a trade secret, and unauthorized possession of a trade secret. The defendant stole the information from a US-based petroleum company regarding the manufacture of a research and development downstream energy market product that is worth more than $1 billion. Tan's guilty plea continues to fill in the picture of China's theft of American intellectual property, said Assistant Attorney General for National Security, John C. Demers. The department launched its China Initiative to battle precisely the type of behavior reflected in today's plea. Illegal behavior that cost Americans their jobs, and we will continue to do so. Just after this plea, another series of indictments were filed relating from trying to steal IP of COVID vaccines to manufacturing and distribution of fentanyl. Oh, and also running a Chinese overseas police station in New York. In 2022, the China Initiative was wound down. Now, the threat from China has intensified. There's been a huge amount of irresponsible cyber activity that the Chinese state-backed actors have been responsible for the world over, from India to Latin America, where along with IP theft, they've also started influence campaigns. On Tuesday, the 17th of October 2023, the head of Five Eyes intelligence chief made a rare public appearance together at the invitation of Christopher Wray of FBI at the Hoover Institution in Stanford University. The Australian security chief, the Director General of ASIO, Mike Burgess, says Beijing is engaged in the most sustained, sophisticated, and scaled theft of intellectual property and expertise in human history. This comes even as the Australian Premier is set to visit Beijing to work on freight ties. Mr. Burgess used Premier Albanese's own remarks when it comes to Beijing, that Australia would cooperate where we can, disagree where we must. Burgess said China's economic espionage went far beyond traditional spying because it had been sanctioned by the state over many years to the detriment of other democratic countries. I've been talking about espionage and foreign threats in Australia for a long time. I generally don't mention countries, but this is one where China is worthy of mentioning. Because Chinese government, Chinese intelligence services are an instrument of the state that have actually sanctioned the wholesale intellectual property theft over a good number of decades. FBI Director Christopher Wray revealed that there has been a 1,300% increase over the last several years in investigations related to China's attempts to steal intellectual property or other secrets. An example cited was of a US wind turbine company that entered into a joint venture with a Chinese state-owned enterprise, which recruited an insider to steal the company's trade secrets. Company shares plummeted, resulting in scores of employees being laid off. The intelligence agencies say the areas being targeted by Beijing align with Made in China 2025 initiative announced in 2015. This plan seeks to make China the world's top manufacturer in 10 areas, such as robotics, artificial intelligence, new synthetic materials, and aerospace, amongst others. So, what can be done? To address the issue, the Five Eyes Alliance launched its first ever Emerging Technology and Securing Innovation Security Summit on Tuesday to discuss how to mitigate the threat with industry leaders. During this, they released a checklist to help secure innovation. Here are the 5 principles you need to know. 1. Know the threats. Understand the way state-backed and hostile actors could try and get hold of your technology. 2nd, secure your environment. Create an effective system for security risk management, incorporating risk ownership, identification, assessment, and mitigation. 3. Secure your products. Build security into your products from the start and actively protect and manage your intellectual assets. Number 4. Secure your partnerships. Manage the risks that partnerships with investors, suppliers, and collaborators can bring. Secure your growth. As your company grows, manage the security risks from entering new markets and expanding your workforce. These are the 5 goals that the Five Eyes wants the industry and academic sector to adopt. When asked, the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. issued a statement. We firmly oppose the groundless allegations and smears towards China and hope the relevant parties can view China's development objectively and fairly. The United Kingdom is tackling IP theft with a new organization, the National Protective Security Agency, NPSA. It was set up earlier this year and works with other government agencies in the UK to provide advice and training to any organizations that hold key intellectual property or run critical national infrastructure. This is an example that other countries would have to follow as time goes. The MI5 DG, Ken McCallum, summarized the challenge well. This contest is particularly acute on emerging technologies. States which lead the way in areas like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and synthetic biology will have the power to shape all our futures. McCallum said, "We all need to be aware and respond before it's too late." And we could not agree more. Thank you for watching.